Hi, I'm Ryan Prashad and I'm presenting on the Tundra Biome. Did you know that the tundras are the coldest of biomes? It is a polar desert found in the polar regions far from the equator, primarily in Alaska, Canada, Russia, Greenland, Iceland, Scandinavia, and parts of Antarctica. Tundras are also found on very high mountains in other parts of the world like the Himalayas in Asia. Some examples of tundra biomes are the Himalayas in Asia, the Arctic tundras, the Alaskan tundras, and the Antarctic tundras. There are actually two different types of tundra biomes. There are the Arctic tundras, which have cold desert-like conditions with dotted lakes and streams where ground is low and moist. It contains permafrost, which is a frozen layer of the soil that is permanently frozen. Then there's the alpine tundras, which are at high latitudes and high elevations, which are like mountains, like the Himalayas, and the alpine tundras have little permafrost and the soils are drier, but they have higher precipitation. Most of the tundras are so cold that the tundras have permanently frozen soil called permafrost. In the summer, the temperature gets warmer but is still very cold, ranging from 12 to 3 degrees Celsius, and only lasts about 2 months. The tundras get precipitation of about 150 to 250 mm a year, including melted snow. That is less than the world's most greatest deserts. Still, the tundras are very wet because the low temperatures cause the evaporation of water to be slow. Most of the Arctic have rain and fog in the summers, and water gathers in bogs and ponds. Here is a climatogram of a tundra in Canada. As we see, these orange lines are the temperatures, and the boxes are the precipitation. As we can see in the winter months like November, December, January, February, the temperatures are very low, below 20 degrees Celsius. But when it reaches the summer months, the temperature rises to the highest of 15 degrees Celsius. And in the winter months, the precipitation is low. It's below 30 mm. And in the summer, the precipitation increases to the highest of 40 mm. So in the summer, it has more precipitation, and in the summer it is warmer. So the animals of the tundras. The animals of the tundras have well developed and adapted to the living environment. Most animals have thick skin or fur to help them adapt to the freezing temperatures. Animals found in the tundra include the musk ox, the Arctic hare, the polar bear, the Arctic fox, and the ermine, the caribou or reindeer, and the semi-palmated plover, the snowy owl, and the Arctic ground squirrel. Many animals that live in the tundra, like the caribou and the winter, like the caribou and the southern plover, migrate to warmer climates during the winter. Other animals, like the Arctic ground squirrel, hibernate during the winter months. There are very few reptiles and amphibians found in the tundra because the temperatures are so cold. Some plants and vegetations of the tundras. There are thousands of species of plants in the tundras. The majority of plants are mosses, shrubs, shrubs, or low-growing plants. Plants tend to be low to the ground because of an adaptation that protects them from the high winds and cold temperatures. Some plants that grow in the tundra include lichen, short shrubs, sedges, grasses, birch trees, like in Minecraft, um, willow trees, cushion plants, Arctic moss, and bearberries, and caribou, lichen, and yeah. So you may be asking yourself, why is the tundra biome important? Well, the tundras are very important because they work as a carbon sink. As seen in the carbon cycle game, the permafrost of the tundras contains a lot of carbon. If it weren't for the tundras, this carbon would be in the atmosphere. And with increased carbon in the atmosphere, it would trap heat to Earth, causing fires, extreme weathers, climate change, and many more problems. Which is why the tundras are very important. So how have humans affected the tundras? Humans have like many other parts of the world, or just the Earth in general, humans have affected it pretty heavily. The oil and gas and mining industries can disrupt fragile tundra habitats. Drilling wells can thaw permafrost, while heavy vehicles and pipeline construction can damage soil and prevent vegetation from returning. This activity also increases the risk of toxic spills. Humans are releasing a lot of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, which causes global warming, making the tundras hotter and as a result destroying plant and animals' habitats. It melts permafrost, snow, and ice. Since the tundras are so fragile, it takes just a little change in conditions to ruin the entire biome and its ecosystems. So as we can see, the tundras are very important. And that concludes my presentation on the tundra biome. So we learned that the tundra biomes are the coldest biomes in the world. And the tundra biomes are important because they work as a carbon sink, which collects carbon and keeping it from going into the atmosphere. We learned that there's two types of tundras, the Arctic tundras and the alpine tundras. And we learned that the tundras get warmer in the summertime, and precipitation of the tundras increase in the summertime, and in the wintertime, the temperature of the tundras are below 0 degrees Celsius, and there are little precipitation during the wintertime. We learn about the animals of the tundras and some plants in the tundras. We learned why the tundras are so important and how humans are affecting the tundras. So that is all for my presentation. Thank you for listening.